Welcome back to another episode of Emotional Nightmares. My name is Tyler, and I am your host. And on today's show, we're going to dive deep into a different style of recovery, a whole different thing. So with this, I have a guest with us. His name is Steve. So Steve, I'll have you kind of introduce yourself with like a brief little summary here.
Sure, man. Well, Tyler, thanks for inviting me on the show, man. I really appreciate that. And like you said right there in the intro, that a different style of different way about recovery, and that's what I've come across and what I've experienced and what's worked for me. So my name's Steve Feldman, and I'm in the Syracuse, New York area. And the story for me really is, in trying to cut it into a little bit of a nutshell here, is just started at a young age, had a regular family, which I thought is what I had. I was the youngest of four, an older brother and two older sisters. My parents worked hard, provided well, and that was really good. And they were entrepreneurial minded. They were hard workers. So my parents got into we were a bowling family, so we all bowled growing up, and my parents had an opportunity when I was about 14 to
what do you mean by a bowling family? You guys were running trophies?
No, we were bowlers. We were bowlers, kegglers, and so we were around the bowling alley scene. I was growing up. My parents bowled in leagues, and my mom and dad. My mother was an alcoholic, and my dad rarely ever drank. So I saw a lot of. Yeah, well, it was interesting because there was a lot of conflict there through the years. My parents were very social, and we bowled, and they had an opportunity to manage a little place in Rochester, New York, because that's where I was raised, and that. So at a young age, I was working with my parents in a bowling alley, and there was a bar in that bowling alley, and I was able to partake and sneak around at a young age, and I actually started drinking and smoking marijuana when I was 12, and just a little bit here and there, and then my parents got into the bowling business. I stayed around that atmosphere, and so growing up before I graduated, and I'm just putting this all in a nutshell for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before we were in Rochester, New York, and my parents were in the bowling business for a couple of years, and then he got an opportunity to come to Skinny Atlas, New York, up near Syracuse, to buy their own facility, and at this point I was already dabbling into some cocaine, and I was doing the acid and everything else, going into my senior year. And then I moved to Skinny Atlas, New York, and we had our own business. So I was a new kid in town. I moved there for my senior year. And so I went from a big city school to a very tiny little school that was a lot of cliques, and I was there just for my senior year. So I didn't know. I was just trying to get done with school, and I gravitated right to the partiers, and had my own business with my family. So I just kept going in it, and that accelerated through the years. I was married, had kids at 19, and didn't know much. I was just partying away, man. And so that continued through the years, and about 10 years there. And the cocaine was very heavy at that time, and that just led into more things, marital problems, and
well, before we go into these more things, let me jump in and ask you a few questions, right?
Yeah, man.
So, because you mentioned about having a normal childhood, right? You thought you were having a normal childhood, right? So, like, what does that mean? Like, what did that look like for you?
Just having a nice home, my parents had good jobs. They worked hard. We were in school. We were provided for. We did things as a family. On the outside, it looked like we were, I would say, what you would say is that normal family.
Right. Outside good, inside a mess.
Inside a mess. Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know any different, man.
Yeah, I get it. Especially at a young age, right? Because like what you're talking about, right? You're mentioning being surrounded by like people drinking and partying, and like I know here, like our bowling alleys, at least the bowling alley I used to go to when I was a kid, that's all it was. It was a bowling / pool hall, and it was just one big party hall is all it was. So you're being surrounded by people drinking and partying. How did that exposure, right? How do you think that affected your understanding of fun for adulthood? Because I know it fucked me up. So.
Well, yeah, man. Well, that's a great question, and I'll tell you how it messed me up. I thought my life was, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of paths, and my path was self-destructing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't have some of the stories a lot of people have had, and my belief was, let's pleasure. That was my path, was pleasure. I thought everything had to do with alcohol and drugs. Everything I did, I watched my family do it. I was exposed to it with my older brother and sisters and their boyfriends. And actually, my brother-in-law was the first person when I was 16 selling me cocaine. I thought he was the coolest dude around. And
of course.
Yeah. So, I thought it was just normal to be including alcohol and drugs in every scenario. And going into adulthood and having our own business, you bowl, you drink. Sunday you watch football, well, you drink. And I had the drugs that went right with it.
Well, what interests me, what kind of interests me, right, is because you're talking about like your mom's struggle, right, her alcoholism, and your father's kind of resistant, right, because your father's not drinking, right? So how do you think that influenced your journey? Because you got mom drinking, you got dad who's not, right? So like, how do you think that internal struggle kind of affected it?
Well, I saw a lot of, when it comes to that scenario of, the opposite. I saw a lot of arguing and struggles through that, and it was something that I didn't want as to be a husband as I was growing up. But I just took it in stride that this is part of my family's dynamics, and I can't say it was good.
Okay. So, my favorite question that I like asking everybody who comes here, right? When was the first realization, right? When was the first, like, oh, shit, something's got to change, right? Like, I might have a problem, right? Like, when was that first moment of, like, oh, this ain't normal?
I'll tell you what, man, and there's a lot tied into that question because, and I've looked back and reflected a ton about that, and that doesn't get asked a lot. But, I was young, and I was, we moved when I was 16 going into my senior year. So at that point, and we were going on to bigger and better things. We were buying a business. So I didn't think I had a problem when we moved. Then we bought the business, and I just carried on for a few years. And then I was married and had kids, and it kept carrying on. And I didn't even realize I had a problem. I had no accountability.
Well, it's all normal for you at this time, too.
It's normal. So I saw people in the bar. What was normal was guys, in men and women, being unfaithful in their marriages in the name of fun, right? Everybody's having fun. I was marinated in all of it. And so I had marital struggles because of it. And so I didn't see that I had a problem till I was in my late 20s. And that was coming to an end of a marriage. But I did very little counseling at that point, very little. And there was another move. Then I moved. We split off, and I moved to Pennsylvania, and we bought a bowling center there, and I went there by myself at the end of a marriage, so I didn't have to deal with anything. I was the new guy in town again.
So running from the problem.
I didn't know I was running from the problem.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had a problem, truly.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, man. And so that's kind of what happened. Pennsylvania, and I was there for my first 3 years clean. I was drinking, but I was drug free. And then it just took a little time to get back at that, and I was full bore, but I was going into crack at that time, and the nightmare really keeps going there then.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah.
It's not a fun one, that's for sure.
Oh, baby.
Right? So, all right. So, I guess we'll just dive right into it, right? So, you tried several recovery programs, right, and interventions. What made those attempts unsuccessful?
Well, I know now that this is part of how I got involved with creating this program, and doing my own mentoring with some people and seeing things that I realized that I did not change. I had bucket loads, toolkits of every sort of imaginable of tools to combat addiction. But my mindset did not change. I just tried to use tools, willpower, and so I was in and out, and it was really late. It was into my 50s before the drastic changes when I changed who I was as a person.
I like that you say that, right? Because like I know one of the big things that we talk about a lot on not only in this channel but like in my personal life with clients and everything like that is always about like if you're not going to change the you side of it, the rest of it's pointless. You're just putting in actions, and eventually you're going to go back to what you know. You're just, it's all bullshit. So, like, in order to let go of that, you have to change you on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
it's the paradigm, man.
Yeah.
You know, and you will go, eventually, you'll go back. And, like, I had a clean spurt of 6 years at one point of drugs, not alcohol, and went back.
Yeah. Always do, right? Because we think that we have that willpower. That's the thing that, you know, like I always tell people is on sheer willpower alone, sure, you can stay sober for a period of time. And then when life shows up, guess what? You know, you're going right back to what you know. All right, so a couple more questions. I'm going to jump right into your program. I'm kind of trying to build right into it, right? So,
I love it, man.
What does the full surrender mean to you, and what did that moment look like for you?
Well, I put it in. I have myself put it in percentages.
Okay.
Because God had spoke to me in a church service about 7-8 years ago, and said, "Steve, I want the rest of you." And when He said that, I'm like, I knew immediately. I'm like, oh man. There's times I've been in 75%, and I'm like, I thought I was all in, but I wasn't all in, and I still had to hang on to me, peace, and so all in was a complete surrender. I feel like I got to 95, 99%, and it's and I've come to a realization that last percent, that 1% out of 100 of you, of me, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst piece.
I can agree with that.
To let it go. And this is where I tie into my faith. I mean, I had to give it all away to God because He wanted more of me, and it was just those moments, because I can't say this day, man. I was so selfish that I just hung on for dear life, and what life I don't know, because it wasn't a good one, man.
Yeah.
So just my faith in knowing that. All in, no more of me. And actually the Lord had spoke to me about 5 years ago on one of my walks, and He says, Steve, your life as you know it is over. If you want to stick around the rest of your life, will be serving others. And I was just like, another one of the moments, I'm like, ooh. He goes, the time that I've given you, you have already used. And I knew what he meant, man.
Yeah.
I spent the time unwisely. And so today I'm going to serve others. That's what I'm a servant, and I want to see people breaking free from this nonsense.
Well, I mean, that kind of answers that question, right? Because my next question was going to be, what was that catalyst moment that inspired you to really start helping others? So I guess that walk would be that moment.
Yeah. That was definitely a turning point when I knew that, and I knew as soon as he spoke that I know I spent my time, and it was all on me. So, yeah, man. Just like you, Tyler, you're serving others, man. That's a beautiful place to be.
Trying,
Yeah,
that's the funny thing with serving others is, you try. It doesn't mean they're receptive. But it's planting seeds,
Yeah, man. I can't sweat the outcomes and the results, man. But like you said, I'll keep planting them seeds, and there'll be some good fruit, right?
Sometimes, sometimes, and as long as I stay out of the equation, I have to remember, as long as I stay out of it, I can't poison the fruit. If I put my pride and my ego in it, I poison it,
For sure,
so
man.
I try to stay out of it. So, all right, let's dive into it. So,
I'm ready, brother.
The big thing, right? What does process stand for, and how did the concept come to you?
Well, the concept came to me, because I've owned bowling centers and bars. It's funny, I've gone back and reflected and connected the dots of how did I get here? And I come to find out, man, that everything in your life, if you'll finally get to a place where you can go back and look and try to reframe it, because that's what I've done, reframe my past to use it. I saw that I was a programmer. I was always creating all these kinds of programs for bars and parties and events and functions and just programming. And one day I was just sitting there, and then I said to myself, I'm like, man, just everything in life's a process. Everything. No matter what it is, there's a process involved. And it was like a light went off, the process. And I start writing acronyms for the letters. And so the process, obviously, and that's how it developed into this whole program. And so the process is P for paths, 2 paths in life. Without getting into all the details of all the scriptures, and there's 2 paths in life, and you've either gone down the wrong path or the right path. So we delve into that, and then the R is for repentance. We got to, whatever way we're going, we got to stop, turn around, and go the other way. We got to repent from what we've been doing, and we've got to go the other way. And the O is for openly declare Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. That's an opportunity there for somebody that wants to accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior and let Him in to control their life. That's that letter there. So that's that. And then C is for confess your sins. It's time to talk about some of the crap you've done. Let's get it out there. Let's find somebody to talk to. And let's confess that to God. Let's confess it to others. And then E is encouraged. Be encouraged and live with expectancy. So we want to talk about, because I'm all about, and I'll use an example of AA here. And I have nothing against AA. A lot of great stuff, man. And I've been in a lot of those meetings in those rooms. But the tone in those rooms, at least the ones I've been in, my own personal experience, man, it's just a downer. I'm sorry, that's my perspective.
Yeah,
I'm not in that program.
I feel it.
And I'm all about lifting people up and encouraging people and telling them, man, they got a shot. You got one life, man. Let's get this. So E is for being encouraged and living with expectancy. And then the first S is secure the borders of your mind. This is where we start delving more into the mind. We got to protect the borders of our mind. You know what I mean? What's going in? What's going in? We got to change the way we think. And if you can change your paradigm, you can change your life. And I mean, and a quick note on that. I remember in one of my sessions that stuck with me with a counselor one time. He had put this, like, I don't know if it was sugar or it was a powder on the table, and he said, Steve, what you see that? That's a pile of cocaine. What's it going to do? What if that just sits there? What are you going to do? Nothing. That will sit there and sit there and sit there. You have to put a thought to your mind, to the process. You gotta get a straw or do whatever you gotta do and take that up. That will never come to you. So that one always stuck with me. That it doesn't. The drug doesn't ever. Where they say this thing's got a hold on me. That doesn't have a hold on you. You've got a hold on it, and it's a twist in the way we think. So secure the borders of your mind, and then the last S in process is sustain, maintain, and share. Sustain what you've built, keep working on it, maintain the things that you've learned in the process, and then start sharing the message. So that's in a nutshell what it is.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I agree a lot with it. I'm real big. Me personally, I'm real big on perception. Right? Like, we create our own realities, and I'm real big, like, especially when, like, talking with clients and stuff, I'm real big with what you're putting in your mind is what you're going to put out. So if negative shit's going in, negative's coming out. And, like, if you stop for a minute and you start changing the way you think, you'd be amazed on how your actions start changing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm real
100.
big on perception.
Yep.
All right, so you create this program, the process program. How is it different than what the traditional 12 steps would be? So
the difference is we dig into visualization and manifestation.
Okay.
So, and right out of the gate, we create, and this is a 90-day program, right? I'm claiming that you can transform your life in 90 days. And
do you guys have meetings and stuff like that?
Well, this is brand new, man.
Okay.
So that's part of it.
Okay.
I developed a complete program and a recovery manual for people that are going to start their own. Like, there's not one started. I'm working on it, but my book's, it's not even out yet.
Right.
I have a complete program to run it. But so what was the question again?
My ADHD, I'll ask like 10 questions on a question. My question is like, so you have the traditional 12 steps, right?
Yes. What's different?
How is your program different in that sense?
So right at the beginning of the program, we lay out, creating your future self, your 90-day future self now. So I work from the end to the beginning. So we develop a plan right out of the gate for each person individually of what they want to see, and then we get into depth in it, how they're going to feel, the real feelings and the depth of where they're going to be in 90 days. This isn't a panacea as you know, with addiction and recovery. This isn't a panacea program that's going to solve every life problem. But I'm telling you, in 90 days, you stick with the process, that your life will be transformed. And so we work from the end to the beginning. So we start working with a mindset that we're already winning. We're already there, and we start there. So we're not striving every single day. We have a mindset, and it's really there's got to be a buy-in to understand. So, I say that this program is not for everyone, but it is for anyone who's ready to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's, you ever read the book Think Rich and Grow Rich?
Oh my God, yes. Love it.
It kind of reminds me of, like, everything you're saying kind of reminds me a lot of that, right? It's like, so I like it. Like, I'm digging it. That's like my favorite.
Well, same here, man. That whole line of thinking, that's the stuff I've been delving into for 2 or 3 years now, heavily. And it's all on that premises right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm big on that. Especially that book really helped put things in perspective. I know, like, just that guy showing up to go work with Carnegie, like
Oh my
that
God,
was
man.
big. All right. So, what kind of immediate action do you encourage people when like coming to your program? Right. So let's say, all right. So boom, I'm in rehab. I'm sitting there. I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's AA and NA, CA, all that stuff. Maybe it's not for me, but this might be for me. And I say, I'm gonna go meet with these people. What's my like? What is the first thing you guys encourage? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because like AA and NA, the first thing is like you have to have a desire to quit using, and like they like just be open and honest and show up.
You know, yeah. So there's a lot of similarities in the biblical step work, and and within my program, there's I have a lot of tools day in and day out that you will use with manifestation, visualization. So we come out of the gate, and you said something that I liked was that people coming right out of addiction. That they have this expectation of, and this program is designed for people that really they've been through the other programs. That yeah, I've tried these other ones. I've been through all these things, and I'm still struggling. So first and foremost, we just dig into getting them excited about who they can be in 90 days, how their life can be transformed. So we really a lot of positivity and just trying to create a vision and a picture in their mind, because they're not visioning good things, man. They're struggling just to get to tomorrow.
Right.
So,
right.
We try to bring them into an atmosphere that's honestly is fired up, man, because life is much, much better. And
yeah.
so yeah, we try to just, there's a lot of encouragement going on. That's what I visualize in the group setting, and just lifting each other up, man. And so I guess that's how I'd answer that, is giving you some hope, giving you some, because listen, and I think this is why it's for me personally, like the AA never worked. Like, I'm a pleasure seeker, man. So I want to have fun and enjoy things. And if I'm not having fun or enjoying it, I won't stick with it long.
Right.
So I want to make sure that these rooms that we will be creating will have some upbeat, some excitement. And I know there's hard conversation. I know there's tough things you're going to have to do, man. But it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it along the way. So I want people to know you can enjoy it, man. And, so there's a lot of teaching, too, right? You got to know that not everyone's going to buy into what you're doing. And you got to get over that and do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think with all of it, I think it's good for the people, because, like, you'll have people that have faith, and, like, that's where they want to come in, because you're going to have a bunch of kickback from, obviously, the people that are not faith-based and struggle with, like, oh, I don't believe in this, I don't care. But that doesn't matter. The people that do have that will come, more or less.
Well, let me just jump in right there, because I'm not, and I don't foresee force feeding that piece upon anybody. But it's definitely a core to this program. But we're going to share the love and truth of Jesus Christ. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But we don't force anything, and again, if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to stay anyway.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's true with just about everything. So how do you balance the spiritual side? How do I word this? So how do you balance the spiritual side and the practical side of the recovery?
Well, so the blend comes because we start out by creating in the natural, in the mindset. We're trying to build this picture, all right, and you know what you're walking into if you come to my program, all right. It's a Christ-centered addiction recovery program. So we're going to be opening up every meeting with a prayer. We talk about Christ throughout it. There's scriptures. I have scriptures planted all through the program for you to look at. So they just come together because I believe they're meant to be together. So it's just in the program. it's undeniable. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
I don't think you can move through this program without just both being in it.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess each individual take what they want out of each piece and hopefully get what they need.
So looking back at your journey, right? What do you think that your younger self needed to hear the most? Don't worry, nobody
Maybe.
knows how to answer that question. Everybody I've asked that question to, nobody seems to know.
Yeah, you know, as I think about it, man, maybe just that, just be yourself, man. Because I lived a facade my whole life. I was the front. You thought, man, this guy's got it good because I owned businesses. I had all the stuff.
Yeah.
But there was a wreckage on the backside, and I had to be something for everybody. And I always thought that because I was at a young age. We were in a business. We were on stage, I'd like to say. And I watch people today that they're not being themselves, man. They just be yourself. You're loved, and you mean something. You're that you've got a purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, that's key. Finding purpose, right? Define purpose into everything. That's the key. So what's one daily habit or mindset shift that you think made the biggest difference in your life?
This is good, man. Yeah, not knowing what's coming.
Yeah, I told you we just freestyle this stuff
Yeah,
over
I love
here.
it.
We don't.
Yeah. Hey, I need this, man, and it's great. Well, the mindset shift for me, I think that creating that future self, knowing that you can actually manifest your future, because I've been dealing with that piece, and I've seen things that are only because I believe that I let the results go away and not being focused on that and just saying, and so speaking my future into existence is probably one of the big ones with journaling. Journaling's become really big for me too.
Oh, I'm big on it. I'm huge on journaling. I think it solves every problem I've ever had when I can sit back and look at it on paper and say, oh yeah, okay. Kind of makes a big difference. So, all right. So if somebody's listening today, right, stuck in addiction, or they're supporting a loved one who is in addiction, what's the one message that you would?
I would just say that you have hope, and there's a bright future for you on the other side of one decision. You're one decision away from changing your entire life. Reach out to somebody who loves you and can help you make that decision. I think we're always one decision away, either way you go.
30 seconds away. I am 30 seconds away from either destroying my life or saving it, That's really all it takes.
You got it, man.
And well, I appreciate you for coming on. I'm interested more in your program. When the book comes out, I want to get a copy of it. I like reading new stuff and seeing new philosophies out there.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
This was good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anything else you want to add before we end?
Yeah, I guess just be looking for the process. And my website should be up, which, it won't be complicated, but I went with a different spelling. It's called Radical Recovery, V-R-Y, without the E-R-Y, because all my links will be associated with that spelling. So I'm going to be hammering that, but look for radicalrecovery.com, and that's recovery, V-R-Y. And there's going to be stuff. I'm just in the midst of opening it all up, and I'll be doing podcasts as well as plus being on others. I'm looking to spread the message before my program hits the world. We're talking September, so just look for that. And yeah, man, and anything I can do for you to share your stuff.
Well,
I thank you.
You'll have your book out before this episode probably comes out. Probably won't come out until November, December-ish, I think, because this is technically the 4th season that I'm doing right now.
Nice.
Yeah, we got 13, or we got season 3's airing right now, so trying to record in advance, get some
Awesome.
in the back. So
how's it going for you with all your recordings and podcasts? What are you trying to get out of it?
Well, so for me, it's like I'm tired. All my friends are dead, right? So like I talk about this all the time. Like literally all my friends are dead. I got one friend that's coming out, like he's still alive, and that's only because he's did the last 20 years in prison. So he'll be home soon. and like he was actually kind of my biggest motivator for staying sober, and pushing me into this, because it's kind of a long story. But aside from that, right, like with that, and then I've worked in this field since I've got sober. I've had my own mental breakdowns and personal situations, and like for me is like, man, I'm tired of like around here in the local area, like I can reach certain people. But like, what about the guy in California, right? So like, what about the guy over in the UK, right? Like I want to reach all of them, and like I want to try to, not for nothing, like all I want to do is provide hope. Like I did a Facebook Live, I think the other day, to explain like why we did this, and like and like one of the things is like I'm never gonna sell anybody anything. Like I'm not here to sell nothing. I don't even know if I'm gonna accept sponsors. Like I turned one down already, because like I don't know why they would even contact me. They don't match. So like the hope is really what my point is like just trying to give hope and show people that like, man, you don't have to die today. Like, why? You don't have to.
Yes.
And I always tell people, like, look, you're either gonna get this and you're gonna get sober and you're gonna be able to reach your kids and actually have this conversation, or I'm gonna be the one to have the conversation with your kids. And like, I'm not a nice person. Like I'm kind of blunt to the point of like, you're fucking up. So hopefully you get it first.
That little piece there, like, me and my buddy, we would go to rehabs and speak to people, and and we were both in the same mindset. Like, I'll help anybody and I'll talk to anybody, but I know, just from my own path, I can tell when you're not ready, and I just don't. It's not that I don't have time for you, but I know you're not ready. I got to be with people that are ready, at least in my plan. And there's people for you if you're not ready, but I'm not. I just know, man, and I know what you're doing. I know where you're going, and you've got some more time. You gotta get hurt some more.
Yeah. See, I like those ones. I'm like one of those weird gut people. I like the ones that are not ready, because like I want to break. There's nothing more enjoyable to me than like when you see, I don't know how to explain it, like you meet somebody and it's dead, and then like it's just dead in here, and then the lights kick on in their eyes, and you just see that spark reignite, and you're like, there it is. That's like the greatest feeling to me. That's better than any drug I've ever had, so that's kind of what
awesome,
I do it
man.
for.
I love it.
Give hope to the nightmare kids. That's where, to the kids, the latch keys. That's what I want to do.
I've got them in my own family, man. It sucks.
Yeah, it does.
And I say that it just came to me the other day that all of us, you included, AA, NA, recovery, all these different programs, we're all, at the core of it, we're all doing the same thing. We just want to get you there. We just want to get you there.
Yeah.
And that's why there's 20 different ways, because we just want to get you there, man.
Well,
and I feel I found another way.
That's what we say on every episode, right? So with that, I'll kick the outro, and that's what I say on every episode, right? So I always say, so you could have been anywhere in the world today. You decided to sit here and be here with us. I greatly appreciate you watching or listening, however it is that you got this on whatever platform. We appreciate you. At the end of the day, listen, just I hope that you got what you need. If you did not, there are plenty other podcasts out there in this world that you can go listen to. I don't care who you listen to, just get it. I don't care how you get there, just get there. If we can't do it, then go find somebody else. Whatever you do, don't call the dope man today. That's all that matters. And for those of you struggling with mental health, whatever you're doing, you're worth it. You're worth every bit of life today. We love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and then share it 3 more times. Thank you.